The grey man does whatever a grey man can. Can he make a comic feed? Yes, he can. He just did. Watch now. A video from Grey Man. A video from Grey Man.
Hey beautiful people, Grey Maniacs gather! For it's time for another video. Right, it's Monday, which means it's my reads of the week. What have I read this week? Not as much as last week, I don't think, but yeah, a fair bit. Right, let's start off. I tried to do it in chronological order of what I read them. Right, yeah, nice old adventure. Very silly story. There's some the superheroes a little bit terse with these super animals, and the super animals get offered to be the heroes of a certain planet. What happened? There was these ships that were attacking, like space pirates, and the superheroes weren't happy with how the super pets dealt with it. So the super pets got offered to be heroes on this other planet. And they decide to go off and become heroes on this other planet. And then they end up having a fight with the superheroes when they turn up. But it all turns out that this other planet that have adopted the super pets as their heroes are actually the ones who are doing all the crime. They're the ones who are the space pirates. And yeah, but they managed obviously to bloody overthrow them. They managed to sort it all out in the end. They're all good friends again. Right. Oh, in this one, they think that the bad luck is causing. Is hurting the team, but it's not. It's not. I just think it is, and this is like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like one of the guys I can't remember which one. Can't remember who it was, but he was like, because he was a comedian, I think, because he was thinking of bad luck. He turned around like to check on something and ran into a wall, kind of thing. And some of the people who'd had bad luck previously in previous issues, like losing an arm, losing his superpowers, one of the one of the triplicate girl bodies dying, losing a Legion membership, they all kind of retroactively remembered something that there was bad luck possibly that happened to them before they had their bad luck. But they realise it's just a figment of their imagination mostly. I can't remember exactly how it transpires now, but yeah. It turns out, but that's right, they end up going to fight these bad luck lords on another planet who sort of say that you won't be able to beat us, we will cause you bad luck and you won't be able to defeat us. They defeat them. I can't remember how now. It was a reasonably good story, but obviously not so memorable with my poor brain. Let me just see if there's a big... there's a backup story as well. I forgot about backup stories. I wasn't sure if the backup story, this one was a super one, where it's Pete Ross knows his secret identity. It's like how he confirms his identity kind of thing, and how he sort of uses his knowledge to help... Clark out by like covering for him conveniently, that kind of stuff. Well, what happened with these? No, we have. Oh, yeah, they couldn't. No, that's right. This includes the super pets as well. For some reason, their power wouldn't work over the super pets. I can't remember why it wouldn't work over the super pets. But anyway, so the super pets turned up to save the day, I believe, as they do. You know, what are super pets for if not to save the day, right? Some modern adventure. No, another old one, sorry. Now, this was an interesting one. They were frozen in time by these other dimensional beings because they've been poisoned by this gang, some nothing sort of mobster. It wasn't a big villain. And the other dimensional guy said, "You come with me and help us in our world, and we'll I'll cure them." In the meantime, that they'd gone off to do it. The other people came. The rest of them, other leaders came in, saw them all like frozen, thinking they were dead because all their lifetimes had stopped, and jettisoned them into space in these like space coffins. That's what's happening there. Meanwhile, in the other dimension, the people who've recruited the Legion are kind of like people. They're more cerebral. They spend most of their time doing nothing. These chairs cater to all their every whims, and they just like think and like philosophise or whatever. They're just becoming more cerebral and mental beings, and these like hulking, brutish kind of beings are attacking them and trying to take them over. And they're quite tough because they're able to defeat the Legion a few times because they're so sort of bulky and impervious to pain and that kind of thing. But in the end, the Legion convinces these... excuse me, I've got another video about to go live. My walkie video is about to go live. I forgot all about that. Anyway, yeah, they convinced them to stop being sedate and sleeping all the day and dreaming all the day and thinking all the day and actually get off their asses and fight because they vastly outnumber the actual enemy. And because when he actually convinced them to do that, because of their numbers, they're able to team over the enemy and defeat them. Is there a backup story in this one? I should make notes, but it's not really that important. It's just a little bit of content. No, I think that's the whole story. I don't think there's a backup in this one. Yeah, I could make notes so I could remember, but it's not like it's it's not like it's a proper critical critique. It's just a little chat about my comic books that I've read. Maybe you've read them and you want to leave some sort of comments down below about what you thought were the stories, or maybe you want to tell me what you've read this week. Well, yeah, it seems that they started the adventure run for a while. And it started off with like normal numbers, and then it went back to the heritage numbers, and then it ends. So it's all a bit confusing. So it's Adventure Comics. It's got obviously a lot of the Legion superhero in it. I can't remember the individual stories, but there's just trouble with the covers of modern comic books. All it is a fight scene or a superhero posing, and you can't necessarily remember exactly what happened in the bloody story. I think in this one, that's Zod, isn't it? Zod. Superboy's lost his powers apart from his tactile telekinesis. And I think they've sunk down in Kandor. They've been shrunk down in Kandor by Brainiac. And Zod's got like a revenge squad that's going to go and try and get out of the bottle and defeat Brainiac. Superboy wants to join it, and Zod says no, basically. There may be some fighting along the way as well. right. You can kill one duplicate girl, but can you kill them all? In this story, duplicate girl's able to do more than 3 duplicates. She's able to. It seems like I didn't sort of explore her powers that greatly in the story, but she definitely has more than 3 duplicates. But like me, it makes Bouncy Boy even more lucky. Wowzers. Yeah. Anyway, some villain breaks into the Legion headquarters. It's interesting. I've not read the full of this story yet. I'm sure maybe I'll get the whole of this like later adventure run at some point. But it seems like the older Legionnaires are teaching a new school of Legionnaires, and there's like a passing out ceremony in this one. But none of them get accepted to the Legion. Instead, they all get accepted to the Science Police instead. And then this villain, I can't remember who it was called now, Molecule Boy or something like that, or some. He had some great powers of changing things around, but he's somehow gone bad. And I can't remember who's recruited him to be bad, but he breaks into the Legion headquarters. They end up getting into a big fight with him, and he's tough, and he takes out the Legion. A few of the Legion members who were in there, I think it was Bouncing Boy, Duplicate Girl. I can't remember who the other one who was in there with them. She gets taken out, but in this next one, and at the end of this one, they students who are learning from them come in and help to save the day, basically, and they manage to save the day. One of them loses their life though. There is one casualty. What was her name now? What was her name, that casualty? I forgot who it was who died, but it wasn't like a big name character. I think it's probably just created for that run, but it was like sacrifice, Right, nice Flash comic. Tio Moro. When did Tio Moro first appear? I wonder if it might have been in this book. I went to look that up actually, Tio Moro, because it seems like he's introduced. It's almost like he seems like it's the first time he's been encountered, at least by Flash anyway, because he, just because the way they talk. But he creates some device that's able to. First of all, he's got a device that can steal things from other times in the future, but then he uses that knowledge to create a device from the future that can duplicate stuff. And Hal Jordan's flying by in his plane, and he duplicates Hal Jordan with his powers. He's got control over those duplicates, and he's got 3 Green Lantern duplicates. Flash and Green Lantern team up to fight Green Lantern's 3 duplicates, and there's a bit of a scene where Flash. Oh, also their power rings are better. They can actually affect yellow and create yellow beams as well. So it's quite a challenge for Green Lantern. And at one point, one of them, because they're so exact duplicates, at one point Flash is almost fooled into thinking that Green Lantern has defeated the enemy that he'd gone against, because they split up. They challenged them. They're going to do 3 crimes at 3 different parts of the world. Stole some gold in London, stole the Statue of Liberty, and went to steal the Mona Lisa from the Louvre. And but at one point, he's running across the sea with this other bad Green Lantern, and the bad Green Lantern goes, "Oh, let me help you, chum. The waters are quite choppy. I'll create a green pathway for you to run across." And at that point, Flash realizes that he's not the right Green Lantern because he's got yellow boots, and his yellow boots shouldn't be able to be held up by the green path that's created for him. So that's when he realizes that it's a bad Green Lantern and not a good Green Lantern, and he sends the Green Lantern ring of one of the ones that he defeated to go and find the Green Lantern who'd been held inside a yellow cage. It's all it's all cool silver stuff, right? A couple of cool comically related ones like Banana Splits and Suicide Squad. This was a really funny story actually. This is just crazy. They're on the way to a gig. Because they look like animal creatures as they are. They get people think they're metahumans. They get arrested by the police, thrown in the pokey. It's just quite a funny story. And then they get quickly recruited to go and help out the Suicide Squad, like straight away, like fast recruited because the Suicide Squad are in danger. So literally, Amanda Waller just says, "Send them guys." And yeah, it's quite a good story. They start off as a banana pop band, and at the end they're doing like gangster rap or something because they're using their cred from being inside prison for a while. But it was a good fun tale actually, a lot of fun. Yeah, and this one actually I realised I'd read it online before, but that was another good story with Wonder Woman and the Tasmanian Devil. She wants to fight. She needs to right. Cersei has turned most of the Amazons into statues, so Wonder Woman has to go into the labyrinth, which is it's basically like a labyrinth. It's like a magical labyrinth, so it pops out in different places of the world as well. And the Minotaur is in the middle of the labyrinth, and he's got a diadem or whatever, or amulet that will counteract the stone. And but she has to team up with one of the guardians of the labyrinth is the Tasmanian Devil, who she's outwitted once before in the past, and she manages to sort of team up with him, promising them a massive feast kind of thing. And there's like the first sort of story is done in a more realistic, well, not realistic, but more like typical comic book style, like with like more serious looking out, and then there's a backup story like following on in this kind of style of which is done it's actually done in the it's the Troy, the Battle of Troy, you know, Helen of Troy and Atlas, is it Atlas? Agamemnon and Ajax, Achilles, all those. It's done in that like in a rhyme and featuring different Looney Tunes characters. So it was quite good. It was fun with the Trojan horse and all that kind of stuff. That was a bit of a fun backup story. Some fun rhyming bits in there as well. Right, just an unexpected. This story was this one had a really daft story. This first story was suddenly he's got an evil eye that he thinks he's predicting people dying, but he's actually causing them to die. And his wife doesn't believe him, blah blah blah, and he thinks his wife, you know, the typical man-wife relationships in this. And in the end, I think he nearly kills his wife with this evil eye, but then his daughter apparently has the evil eye and kills him instead. And yeah, a bit of a weird one. Oh, it was the first story in here. Dark Vengeance was he's jealous of his wife. He thinks his wife is in love with this adventurer who's brought back information about this voodoo and black magic. He starts to use the black magic to think he's going to kill them. He ends up thinking he's turned them into a pair of dolls, but he hadn't turned into a pair of dolls. They're a new pair of dolls that this adventurer guy had bought for their daughter. It was a bit weird, a bit silly. It was like a very far-fetched kind of story. This is another one with this guy. He's well, I assume he's from Wales, from his name. He owns a load of mines that are dangerous, and he's been cheating his employers out of their retirement funds and stuff. But this guy who confronts him with it wants to blackmail him. He pushes him into a whirlpool, and he gets sucked down. But he keeps coming back to haunt the guy. He ends up in the lunatic asylum because he's been haunted by this vision that keeps coming up, and his mind snaps. Anyway. Yeah, just another nice, like, bronzy DC horror. Right, Marvel fanfare. I've got a few of these, and I was gonna get rid of them all. Actually, I was in my to sell pile, but I was like, well, I'll give it a read anyway because I didn't think I'd read this one. And yeah, it was all right. Black Widow story was fine. But the trouble is, why I want to get rid of him is because I don't plan to buy the full run. And if I'm not going to get the full run, if it was to me, what's the point of having the comic? If you're not going to get the whole story, there's no point in having it. But now I kind of think, oh, do I want to keep it? Do I want to get rid of it? I've read it anyway. The backup story was like a Jungle Book story. It's like very weird. Yeah, well, it was alright, I suppose, but it was all like all the characters from the Jungle Book, sort of telling it's like an origin fable story of how the tiger got his stripes and that kind of thing. Yeah, okay. Right, now this one, I'm very pleased with this little 6-parter. I had a load of fun reading this. I got this originally. I mean, I sort of heard of it in passing, but I never considered ever buying it. But then I got given one of the comics by Thunder God because I won a slab off him, and he sent me this. You had to show this comic in a mystery box as well before he did the draw, I think. And I'd always said, "Oh, that's a nice looking comic," because obviously it's an old 1968 DC. That's my kind. I'm more than happy to read anything like that. And he said, "Do you want it, mate? I'll send it to you." And I was like, "Yeah, if you like." Yeah, I've no qualms about taking an extra free comic. If anyone wants to send me free comics, they're always welcome to. But I just really enjoyed this run. I read it last night and today, and the art was sweet. Not the most serious art, but he's kind of like a nice cartoony kind of style of art, and I liked it. Harry Post. It must have carried on from another. I think he started off in Showcase Amphro, because it starts off with it's telling you he's killed a mammoth before, and there's a little bit later on it talks about he had a fight with his dad, nearly killed his dad, but then they've made up now. So it's him and his little brother who becomes lame, gets attacked, like bitten on the leg in the first one, so he's lame for the rest of the thing. His father from the bear tribe, his mother from the horse tribe. He'd like the old caveman thing, bonked her and dragged her off kind of thing. But there's loads of like just funny little jokes in there, funny little like. It's hard to describe really, but it's just I laughed out loud in quite a few little places. So this first one, the Battle of the Sexes, he discovers another lady from the horse tribe, and he wants to marry her because she's good looking. Why wouldn't he want to marry her? She's a gorgeous little cave lady. I can't remember what happened in this one or later on, but he does end up going to a tribe. Does some tasks to be allowed to marry the chief's daughter, but then once he's completed the task, it turns out the chief, he has to marry the oldest daughter, who's like in no way similar to her younger sister when it comes to looks and figure. So he does a runner. It was quite funny. There's just some funny little things like that. But she becomes a recurring story. Like she pops up a fair bit still. He still loves her. He wears her token that she wants to marry him, but she can't until her older sister gets married to someone first. There's all like ice days. The ice times have been going on longer than they normally are, and these more primitive primates, especially fighting for food. They smell when they catch a boar, and that attracts the attention of the hungry ape men, and they battle for food, and then he ends up having a fight. Because that's when I found out that he fought his dad in the previous comic, must be in the Showcase, because it says they fight on the edge of the cliff where once him and his father fought. And I was like, oh, okay. And, and they end up, him and an ape man falls in, and his father's about to kill him, and he says, no, let's show mercy to him, and they give him a bit of food. They show him mercy, and I think it was suggested that he'd shown his father a similar mercy when they had got into a fight before. But it was quite good. There was no, like, animosity between them. I think they had a fight at one point, and they were friends again, I'm assuming, because they was always like looking out for each other. There's a funny point because it's like he's like the barefoot clan, and he got the woman from the horse clan. He's separate from the rest of his clan though. He's not seen his clan for ages, and his mother-in-law is there as well, and there's some nice banter between them two. Typical mother-in-law like sort of stuff, but it was just humorous. It was just fun. What happened in this one? What evil lurks outside? I can't remember this one. This was bears. There was quite often have fights with bears. What's the actual basis of this story? They do decide that eventually that because the ice period's been going on for too long, they decide they want to move away. All right. Oh, this is another one where he goes to visit his beloved. I think this is before they're about to move. Yeah, before they're about to move. What was outside though? I think it must be later in the episode where. Yeah, this is the one where they fight the cave. Oh, that's right, because that carried on from the last one. This is the ape men still outside. This is the point where they fight and they fall off the cliff and. Yeah, and he shows him mercy. Then he goes off to find his beloved, so he can tell her that he's moving on and how he can. There's this whole scene where Chief Tug, what's his daughter's name? He's Emperor, the boy's Emperor, and she's called Emperor. Her name is Emperor. Very, very beautiful she is too, like the beautiful Emperor. And her father catches him. He's got his knife out. He's ready to, but he like it. So he's chasing after him. There's all these like good banter about he's going to carve some meat to celebrate your visit, meaning his own meat. He says, do not put yourself out, Chief Tug. I can find my way. And he says, I only wish to show you the way to your ancestors. And he falls over kind of thing. And he runs off on the horse. And his daughter is like, forgive me, father, I am ashamed that I should care for one whom you so despise. My shame is deeper still since I rejoice in his escape from you. And he says, you need not shame, my good daughter. No one escapes your father unless he so wishes. And she says, then you have no wish to kill him? No, in fact, I admire the lad. He honours you to risk so much to pledge you his love. So like all the characters are kind of like quite wholesome, really, quite sort of nice. So like he's playing the angry father, but he wasn't really going to try and kill him. He just wanted, he was angry because he jilted his oldest daughter, but was pleased at the fact that he, wanted to marry his youngest daughter and he'd take the chance, the risk to go and see her and that kind of thing. Anyway, so in this one, they move into trying to find the land where the sun lasts longer or something. I can't remember how they phrase it. And they end up finding like a more advanced civilization with wheels and stuff inside a volcanic crater. It's like it stays warm because of the underground heat all the time. But it turns out it's like it's a matriarchal society where the women have much more power. The men are more slaves almost to their women folk. But there's a prophecy that says there's a lame king will come from somewhere, with blonde hair, and it happens to be the little brother. I can't remember the little brother's name there, but they decide to proclaim him as the king. But the woman who was in charge, the queen, she wants to be able to manipulate him. She tries to manipulate Amphro by giving him all give him the old comely eye and so forth. And he doesn't fall for it because he's betrothed to Emperor, and he realises she's a bit of a wrong 'un, and she decides she wants to sacrifice the little brother to the volcano god. There's a little uprising of the men folk who wanted to get away from their ways, and finally the volcano erupts. There's an earthquake. There was rumbling tremors of it before, but they managed to get away. They get away on a raft, which. They have a crash. There's all these bears around by the river. It's all dangerous. He goes into a cave where he sees these people dressed up in bear furs doing like a ritual. He gets taken by them, and they're going to kill him because he's interrupted their ritual. He's spied upon their ritual, and but they can't kill him. They won't kill him while he's asleep. They'll let him wake up before they kill him, and he's about to bash his brains in. And because he's just drowsy and waking up, and he smells because these people smell like his dad because his dad doesn't wash very often, and he wears oil, bear fat or whatever fat, animal fat to keep him warm kind of thing. So because he's in a groggy state, he goes, "Oh, father," like that, and the bloke's about to bash his head in, and he goes, "Oh, what, you think I'm his father? Maybe I am. I've travelled far and wide," that kind of thing. But it turns out he's actually his uncle that he's never seen before. He says his dad's name, and he says, "It's my brother, my long lost brother." So they managed to get everyone back together again. They managed to meet up with Ember from the horse tribe because Ita, her older sister, she comes along. Because he's like, oh, there's a woman from the horse tribe has come to see you, and he's like, ah, and he goes to see her, and it's Ita instead of Ember, and he's like, oh. But it's all happy. It'll end up happy ever after. Oh, before he goes off to find her or hunt or something, there's this dark-haired lady from the bear tribe gives him a token. It says it's for good luck, but not realising that it's actually like another betrothal kind of token. So when he finally manages to get hold of Ember, he goes on a big hunt to find her. He goes into like this hidden forest. There's a giant in there. He fights a white lion. Sorry. He manages to find Ember and her father, brings them back. But it turns out they go to get married. Fortunately, the big sister Ita gets married by some guy in the bear tribe because he's promised like 3 trained horses as a dowry, and he thinks, oh, that's a good prize. I'll go for that. He's more interested in the horses than he is in Ita. But it turns out when it comes to their betrothal, it's like if anyone wishes to contest this, you break a stick and you put it in the bowl, and it's a contest. And so the dark-haired girl here, she's like, well, I gave him my amulet. He's betrothed to me. He's like, no, I thought it was for good luck. And the chief says, oh, well, you are not accustomed to our ways. You didn't know. It's no protection from the law. You're still betrothed to her. So they end up having the women have to fight and until one can no longer stand, kind of thing. And when that happens, whoever wins gets to marry Amphro, but it turns out they both fall off a bit of a cliff, land on some rocks, not very high, but high enough to lay them both low without doing them any permanent damage. And it turns out the very last thing goes, oh, don't worry, we have a rule for that in our law. You must marry them both. and the thing was, that was the last one, because at the very end it says coming next week. It's something like The Stranger. Next week, The Stranger. I think it was The Stranger. But it must have been during the DC. I think it was the DC implosion. So that's one of those comic books that never got made. I don't know if it ever got reprinted. I mean, it might have got reprinted. In that there was a reprint thing that they did, didn't wasn't it, at one point, just like a black and white reprint kind of thing. I'm sure. Next issue, The Stranger. But yeah, I'd like to, if I could get that, and also get the showcase stories as well. I really enjoyed this. It was just a really, really fun little read. It was never a comic that I'd thought to pick up myself. It was just pure luck that Thunder God sent me it, and I just really enjoyed it. It was a really nice, quick read, like little look into the lives of some cave people, and it was just funny as well. There were some nice little funny elements in it as well. A little bit of excitement elements where they're fighting like wolves or bears and that kind of thing. Yeah, just good laugh. Anyway. That's it. That's all I've read this week. I shall be reading more. Tomorrow, I would normally come back with my pickups of the week, but I've had absolutely sod all. Not a single thing have I got in the post, because I'm trying not to buy anything. But I've got some that I've got to buy eventually, because someone's got a list holding comics for me. So that'll come eventually. Still haven't got the prize from Small Town Collectibles, so I might send them a message and say, did you get a tracking number, because it might have gone missing. I know they're having a lot of problem with the UPS over there, I believe. But anyway, hopefully it will turn up at some point. But that's it, yeah. But I am coming back tomorrow to show you some books. I've got some books that my mate gave to me ages ago. I never really looked at them properly. They were sitting in a bag around Lisa's, and I brought them over after Christmas. And there's some really nice thick books, some interesting stuff. So I might do a flick through. Maybe I'll do one for each book, just to flick through the pages, because they look pretty decent. And I've got a couple of posters as well, but I haven't really got anywhere to put them. But anyway, cheers for watching, and until next time, have a great, amazing day. Oh no, I want to do a shout out. I missed my walkie video. Right, this guy that I watched the video of today, he's on 99 subscribers, so it only takes one more to get him over. So if we can go and sub up Cards and Comics, please, and I will do a little jingle for him at the end. And until next time, whenever that will be, I'll definitely be back next Monday with some more reads, and I'm going to do for at least Thursday and Sunday. We've going to be going through box number 29. That's it. Until next time then, have a great, amazing day, and may all your news be good news. Cards and Comics, he's on 99 subs. He needs one more to get to 100, to go and sub him up today. Cards and Comics, his link is in the corner. Go and sub him up, that'll be very nice of you.